Are you looking to get more reviews for your business, increase your ranking in the map pack? It's hard. It's hard to get a lot of reviews. You can't do it the passive way. You have to get out there. You have to ask in person if you really want to crush it and hit those goals. We've got Theresa Mattioli from Giant Enterprises on the interview here today talking about that and how they did that for their company, going from a couple dozen reviews up to over 400 now, with 3 locations, improving their business and really helping them grow. Check it out. She's got a great story, and I think you're going to get some good tips out of her. Welcome back to Local SEO Tactics, where we bring you tips and tricks to get found online. I'm your host, Jesse Dolan. Sue's with us here again today. Sue, on this episode, I'll let you set it up. We've got a fun episode, a special guest, and a good story we're going to get into. Why don't you kick that off? Give us an intro.
Sounds good. We are here today with a long-standing client, Theresa Mattioli of Giant Enterprise, and we are here for Theresa to share her story with us because Giant, among other things, has had great success with getting reviews. So that's what we're going to focus on today, and I'll go into that a little bit more in a few minutes. Quote of the day today is, "It's no use saying we are doing our best. You have got to succeed in doing what is necessary." And that's a quote from Winston Churchill, one of his many good quotes. So, a little background. We've worked with Giant Enterprise for many years. They're a business who offers trash chute services, scenting and odor control services to property managers, buildings, business complexes in the Atlanta area, Panama City, Florida area, and their newest location in Nashville, Tennessee. When we started working with them, they had an old website, no online marketing, no awareness of the importance of Google Business Profile, especially for a geography-based business like they are, and no awareness of the impact that reviews make. This is typical for small businesses, just like many of the other ones that we work with. They have been great clients. Part of the reason for that is they're very open to learning. They're attentive to what we're doing, and they want to participate with us or engage in the things that they can do to help attract leads online. And they're very willing to do what it takes to improve their online visibility and attract leads online, the whole goal of SEO that we've been working with them. One of these things is reviews. When we started, they were asking for reviews at the bottom of their invoices and had, we think, like somewhere in the 20s or maybe 30, 32. We tried asking for reviews in separate emails, sharing a review link and a QR code with their customer-facing service teams with varying degrees of success. The big game changer that was a brainstorm of Theresa's was when they created an incentive program for their people, beginning with a rich contest that got people into the habit of asking for reviews. And the rest is history. Their reviews are now at 405 for their Atlanta location and still growing. That is phenomenal. In Panama City, they've also increased, and in their newest location of Nashville, they opened it knowing the importance of reviews and started getting reviews right away. They're known for their great work, their customer service, their reliability, and regional business. They're a regional business, yet they've been contacted by many outside their service area with questions or inquiries into will they work with them because they see the reviews are stellar. So with that, we'd love to hear from you, Theresa, a little bit about how you got where you are with the reviews, and really where your whole story of getting reviews has started from the time that we started working together and you quickly picked up on the importance of reviews and what you've done, how you started doing it, what it's done for employee morale, et cetera, to get you where you are today.
Sure. Thanks for asking. So when I step back and look at it, it's still, we're 405 reviews just in Georgia, and total we're over 450 of all the different locations. And it's our rating is 5-star across all 3 locations. So to me, that's unbelievable that we could get to this point. And it's so much of the effort has been the joint effort with brainstorming ideas with Intrix and coming up with new ways to look at it. But when we were starting and we were really focused on improving that footprint, we created a contest for our technicians because we're a service business for the most part. And most of the time, the service technicians are the ones out in front of the customers doing the service on a day-to-day basis. And so it's an additional touch point with a service technician when he goes in to get a work order signed is to ask them, how did we do today? Are you satisfied with our service? And so with that, we put a contest in place that we said, we don't want to say go get a review, but we want you to go and say, are you satisfied with our service? And we would be really happy if you would go and do a review for us if you're happy with our service. And so if the customer then wrote a review online, there was a different level. So if they wrote a review, if they just gave us 5-star, then they got a point for that. And if they actually added a comment, they got a couple of 3 points for that. And then if they actually mentioned the technician's name or the employee's name, because it was open to all employees, including our salespeople, but if they mentioned the name in the review, then they got 5 points for that. And so then at the end of every quarter, we would give a monetary award, and it was nothing big. It was a couple $100 to the winner and the second place person. But then we would also recognize them by sending out to the other employees, Jordan got 10 reviews this quarter, right? And then sending out some of the comments that people made. So it does 2 things. First of all, it gives us higher recognition from a web-based marketing standpoint, but it also reinforces with the employees that we're doing a great job, and here's the recognition that the customers are giving us for providing great service. So it's a reinforcement of both internal and external of the service that we want to provide to our customers. So
Pause there quick, if we can, ladies. Theresa, I think it's very interesting. We talked with a lot of businesses and talked about reviews being very important, right? You guys went through the same journey with us. But it's tough, especially if you don't have that culture of asking for reviews. You mentioned the service technicians and the people that directly engage with the clients and your customers, being the great spot to engage and get this done. And I think we would like to dive into that a little bit more in just a few minutes. But first, I'd like to talk about that struggle, just to back up, right? You had a culture and a team of people that this just wasn't the process. Like Sue said, you're asking for reviews on the bottom of an invoice, or very, very passive systems, if you will, compared to what you've been rocking and rolling on more recently. But if we just say everybody out listening and watching understands reviews, understands they're important. On our show, we've talked about it a number of times. We actually had your husband on, John, I think episode 183, if I remember correctly. And we did mention this in that as well, right? So it's a theme we bring up. It's a topic, and a lot of businesses listening and watching know that, but it's tough. It's tough if you're not currently doing it. And just if you just call it the psychological act or the getting ready for as a team member to ask these people, to get a review. I think you had a very interesting step there that I'd like to kind of parse out to help overcome that obstacle, where you said, we just want to know, are you happy with our service, right? That kind of little door opener before you ask for a full-on review. I'm curious about how you got to that, maybe some other things you tried first, or kind of why that effectively that 2-step ask, if you will, right? Like, hey, did you like our service? And then can you give me a review? Can you talk about that very early evolution of finding that worked, helping your people get over we'll call it the fear of asking or engaging, and where you caught some steam with that?
Sure. So I think early on, when we were looking at how to get more reviews, we did things like put a link to reviews at the bottom of our emails and create a QR code that people could use as to get to the uh, Google review page. And unless you're actively engaging with a customer, in, unless they have a really bad experience or really good experience, they're not going to go out of their way to do it. And so it wasn't really moving the needle in terms of more passive approach. And there was a lot of other things going on as well, is that it became more and more important for us to, rather than going on site and doing our service and just getting somebody to sign a work order, is actually that engagement with the customer. So, and service technicians by nature are not necessarily people or relationship people, where they want to go out and chit chat or talk to customers, right? They just want to go and do their job. And so, that to move the needle, it was actually getting people to understand the importance of getting a review, and then having them feel proud of what they did. So the contest did a couple of different things. First, it recognized the importance of getting good reviews, right? And then with a little bit of monetary incentive to do it. And then as people saw that other people were getting recognized, then they become more competitive, right? And they want, oh, I want to do that too. So I think, stepping back is we tried other things that were more passive, and then came to the realization that we had to, make sure our customers were happy with the service, and reinforce that, as well as make us stickier to customers by increasing the relationships that we had with them. So that's when we went to engage, and ask the questions. Are you happy with our service? What can we do to improve? Are there any other things that you might be looking for? Because there's a wide range of services that we have. And then also, we would really appreciate you doing a review as well. So it's marketing in a lot of different ways. Reinforcing with the customer that, number one, we were there and we did the service that we committed to do. Number two, that is there anything else that we can do for you? And then number three is, how do we utilize that customer feedback to actually grow the business and gain new customers? Makes sense?
I love two big things that you rolled out there and that you're highlighting. One is, yeah, not just asking for the review, but getting that feedback. At your business, we say a lot, and it's kind of common sense when we say it out loud here, but you're gonna get more 5-star reviews if you're a 5-star business. And so asking for that critical feedback, whether it's good or bad, right? It is what it is, but just honestly saying, how can we do better? Where were we bad? Where were we good? And then taking action on that to be better. I think clients can see that evolution, but then more importantly, even your team members, they're seeing that you're asking, they're seeing the feedback themselves a lot of times, maybe, or hearing it, and then full circle seeing where maybe some of these things are implemented and changed. It's not fluff from the organization, right? It's not a bunch of BS. It's, hey, let's see how we're doing. Let's try to get better, and let's ask for some good reviews. I think that part's very smart, and people will overlook that a lot. It's just, hey, we just want the 5-star review. It's a feedback mechanism, and really you're trying to get feedback overall, and sometimes it's negative, but you got to listen to that and see what you can do to improve. The other thing I think that's really worth highlighting a lot is the buzz you created with the team of showing other people about highlighting this. Sue got 10 reviews, Jesse got 5 reviews this month, making it important, making it part of the DNA and what you guys do. Not just from a contest perspective, but just, this is important. Your job is to go provide the service, fix the stuff, etc. And to do more of that and to have this job for the next 10 years, we need reviews. We need this feedback, right? And so now, where it wasn't before, but it is now part of your job, that's maybe a hard pill to swallow sometimes, or, you need to add a little sugar onto that. I think you're able to do that by making it something that is part of the company culture and highlighting it in all these ways. Not just having it be a contest, and there's a winner at the end of the month with X reviews, that'll fade out. You really took it to the next level and let everybody know this is important for what we do. This is part of what we do. It's not a campaign here for the month of June. This is what we do going forward, and just giving it all the gusto it needed to really stick. I got another question for you. Again, kind of going back a little bit, when this was rolled out, before you started having success, maybe can you speak to some of the early challenges, maybe some of that friction and pushback? Because again, you went from passive to getting people to start asking questions and engaging out in the field. Was that difficult? Did you have some people that really pushed back? They came around eventually. Maybe speak to that part of the journey a little bit, if you could.
Yeah, I don't know that people pushed back, but they didn't push back, but they just didn't necessarily do it, right? Because it's who's getting the reviews, but you don't necessarily know who's not asking for the reviews. And I think the interesting point is, Sue said earlier we were in the 20s or 30s when we first started this journey, and our goal was to get to 100, right? So the contest was getting us to 100. And then I think we continued the contest till we were about 160. And now we have 405, and we haven't run a contest since we were at 160. So it became more DNA in the culture to just go ask. And so it's not about just a contest. It's about how do you get people motivated to know it's important to, engage with customers, talk to customers, and then actively ask for their feedback, whether it's just giving us feedback or giving us a feedback in a review. So I think it's, especially with technicians, it's not necessarily people pushing back, and some people would say, "Oh, I'm not comfortable doing that," but then it becomes more of a competition when somebody else is getting recognized for something that they're not doing, and it's a pretty easy ask to do it. So I guess that's where I would go with it, is that you just have to start it and you build momentum with it, and then just keep going and drive it. So we would make, on a regular basis, send out snippets of who got reviews and what they were, and we would do screen grabs of them and send them out to the whole organization, and we tried different things. Our different sites are different in terms of the way the customer base is as well. So in Georgia, it's a lot more multi-residential high rises that there's a property manager on site. In Florida, there's a lot more rental properties, for example, in the Panhandle where we service. So there's a lot less property managers on site. So there, it's harder for them to go in and ask for review, and that's why their numbers haven't jumped as much, because they don't have the people on site to go and get that. But as we go through and their numbers are not going as fast, we have conversations with the guys. Okay, so what can we do different to drive more participation? So we are constantly looking at things like that over time. Is there, and we have new people that come on site, and to reinforce it with the new people. Oh, these folks got reviews, and these are important. Just little things like that. One thing that came to mind as we were talking is, as we started this, we got all the service technicians business cards. So service technicians wouldn't necessarily have business cards, but on the back of the business card was a QR code. So they could easily hand that to a customer, and then with that, they could get to our page right away. It was a physical reminder of how to go and do it. So that is one thing that we did. They typically sign for the work orders on their iPad, And that's another way that they had access on the iPad to show them the QR code if they chose to do that. So giving customers different alternatives of getting to their review pages. And some people don't have Google accounts, so they would say, "Oh, can I go do a review on Better Business Bureau, or could I, whatever site there might be." So we've tried different things. You know, we have some Yelp reviews, but we're not a business that normally would get Yelp reviews because it's not a consumer based business. But to me, it's interesting that all the different ways you can get reviews. But Google certainly has been the most successful in terms of driving activity.
So smart.
Glad you pointed that out. A lot of people, I mean, we talk to Google reviews, Google business profile reviews, GBP reviews. And that's really where we want the reviews, right? We want to be found in Google. We want to be found in that map pack. And you got to have good Google reviews. You got to have a good score for your Google reviews. And you have to continually get Google reviews, right? But not everybody has a Google account, to your point, right? And I think it's fantastic to have that backup plan or make it easy for them to give you a review. You mentioned like Yelp and the BBB and other, depending on the industry, there may be specific portals, Angie's List, whatever you want to call it now, things like that too. So if somebody is willing to give the review and give you that good feedback, yeah, having other options, they may not be as good for Google directly, but having good reviews wherever you can get them is very important. And I like that you're highlighting that because I want to take that opportunity for everybody listening as well. Google sees all that. Google sees your score in Yelp, for example, right? Just like us human beings do. And then within Yelp itself, there's a bit of ranking when people do some searches. So, yeah, A1 is Google reviews for your GBP. But after that, you just get reviews wherever you can. It's going to be great. And then also, like you're saying, sharing that with your team, or maybe taking these snippets, putting them on the website to help emphasize certain areas to show that feedback to the public. You can do that with reviews that aren't on Google as well. The Yelp, the BBB type reviews. You can use those in a lot of ways, even if it doesn't directly impact your Google rankings, like a Google review would. And so I think that's very smart to set that up and have that with all of your technicians. Another thing I'd like to point out, which you didn't say this exactly like it, but it definitely generated the thought for me. If we go back to like the first versions, the passive, putting the link on emails, on invoices, things like this. If we can think about that invoice is going to maybe an accounts payable person at the company, did that person have the experience? Do they even know who you are? Is it a relationship? Right? If there's a percentage, that's a yes and a no on that question for everybody listening and for you folks, right? You're already giving yourself a less chance to get a review because they could care less. They have no personal tie. And then on top of that, and then it's going to the same person every time. You're just asking them over and over with every invoice, right? But now your technicians and the field service people or anybody that's client facing and client engaging for a business, you're dealing with multiple people now at that business, right? And you can get reviews from every individual person there. It doesn't just have to be one person at one business. And so there's that multiplying force as well. If you have 5 team members asking people instead of the invoice, now you're getting 5 times the exposure by asking. Plus, there's multiple people in the office they can talk to over time. And that's a hidden thing I think people realize. We think about getting a review from that business, from that one client of ours. But who you're asking, how you're asking, what's the frequency and the spread can really make a big difference and make it easier to get to where you are with the great score and the high number of reviews. So some interesting little tidbits to parse out there that I think are a very big part of your success, and anybody listening and watching, that's a good nugget to emulate, I think. So maybe Theresa, a little bit about, like you said, now this culture is established. It's rocking and rolling. You're bringing on new team members, maybe new technicians. What is the spirit, and how has it changed over the last year or two as you've been getting reviews and are doing good there? What is it like now to bring in people and have them understand this is part of our DNA versus everybody else had to kind of grow up through it and see it launched and evolve? Is there a difference there? Or how do people react? Or is it even a thing? Or is it just what you do? You just ask for reviews now?
Yeah, you do ask for reviews, but it does bring up a point as you constantly have to be reminding people of it because you think you've done all this in the past, but you do have new people on board, right? And so they have to be sort of brought into and you can't just tell people once. That's another key of it. You can't just tell people once. It's a constant reminder. It's a constant theme when we do a meeting. So it is, even if it's just verbal recognition of people that get reviews, I think it's an ongoing strategy that you have to ask for them, as well as give feedback. So another thing, John, my husband, he writes a comment back to every single person that writes a review. And so, they're not just thank you. I mean, he writes a long comment, and I think that as going forward, it's another strategy because it's important to him, and he wants to show customers that it's important to us, and we very much appreciate their feedback. He goes and answers these, and is expands on what they've said and how important it is to us, and that number one, they're our customer, and that they've also taken the time to give us a review. So those are the kinds of things, if you continue to not only share the review, but then share his feedback, then the employee that got the review gives them more reinforcement that it's important to us as a company. Does that make sense?
I wanted to interrupt this episode quick to talk to you about a new Boost SEO program. This is not a course or a traditional SEO service or program. This is a new hybrid solution that we're putting out for businesses who can't afford to outsource their SEO, but do want to accelerate the process and learning curve for SEO and implementing it on your site. I know SEO can be a complex and confusing field of study and practice. I also know that if you've got a business, you need to be visible on Google and capture that local market. So SEO is extremely important. Often we see the problem is that businesses don't have the budget to hire professionals to do it, the time to invest into it, both, right? Or maybe you just want to learn and apply SEO to your business yourself, but no, it's complex and time consuming, right? A very intimidating journey, like I'm saying. If this is you, if any of this is resonating with your business and your situation, we do have good news. Check out our Boost SEO program. You can go to localseotactics.com/boost. We'll help you to develop your SEO plan, how to execute SEO, and be your mentor and guide along the way, along with a bunch of other cool stuff. It really is positioned kind of in the in-between space for people who do want to learn it, do have some time to invest, but not the money to have somebody completely do it for you. With Boost SEO, you're going to work with one of our dedicated SEO project managers with monthly meetings. We'll go over strategy, action items for things to do over the next month, performance over the previous month, look at all the analytics, really just be your guide and Sherpa along the way for SEO. In addition to that, we're going to use our power tools, right? We're going to guide you. We're going to show you our training videos. You can have our library, and we'll assign those to you to accomplish specific tasks that we work together on. But then we have our whole suite of SEO power tools and our talent, right? And our technical abilities. We're going to do all that front side stuff for you and share the information with you and show you how to use it. So yeah, we're going to tag team this with you and get you the results that you're looking for. And you're going to learn a lot along the way. If you think this is something that you're interested in, if this sounds important for your business, maybe something you can implement, check it out. Go to localseotactics.com/boost. Right now, here in March 2024, this is still in beta. We don't have a ton of information on the website. Most of the information that's out there is what I'm saying right now. It's kind of a preview for everybody. So if you want to learn more, if you want to jump on board with it, or just put your name in there to kind of reserve a spot and see if you have some interest, go to localseotactics.com/boost and we'll be in touch.
I'm really glad you brought that up. So for anybody who doesn't know, Google places very high priority on reviews. And last I saw it was their number 2 factor in their search algorithm. The number one is relevance of the search. And of the different parts of what they look at, it's number of reviews, it's the average rating, which yours is 5. It's the timeliness of them. Google wants to see them coming in regularly, not let's just dump 25 in January and then another 25 in May. And they look to see if the owner has replied. And John has done a phenomenal job, like you said, not only thanking the person for the review, but they're very personal to that person's experience. And it definitely shows the person who wrote it that the owner cares. And I think for any of us who have ever left a review, you really never expect the business owner to reply to you, and especially one that's as personal as the one that John does. And I really, really think that that's so smart of you guys. All the different things that you've done, really, it's not just reviews. You're talking about letting the customer know you care, letting your employees know that they're important, recognizing the customer, recognizing and acknowledging the employees. All of these things have made it so much bigger than let's just ask for and get reviews. It's so smart, so smart.
Yeah. And I think it really also ties, I'm going to divert a little bit for reviews for a second and just go back to even the web page development that you guys helped us with. Because early, when we started, we had a old, I don't even know, it was like a DOS-based website. It wasn't really, but to bring us into from a website design and development, and start looking at things like keywords. So keyword things that drive people to your website or drive people you higher up on the Google search is some of those things you can, if you answer in a review with some of those keywords, it also helps that content. But the development of the website to where it is today and the constant approach of looking at what's important on the website, like certain keywords and like giving people access to either request something online versus just calling, or apply for a job online. It is really important, and it's not only important to customers and customers finding us, but it's important to potential employees. I remember one of our employees said, "Oh, I looked at your website because if she would not have come to work for us if our website had been our former website because it's like you don't care about online marketing." And in generationally with younger folks, it's important to make sure you have that web presence. So it's not only about Google reviews, but it's a strong web presence that you know helps reinforce your validity as a business, right? So
Great point. Great point. I mean, it's your way of communicating who you are to the world.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so we've done, and there's great work in terms of, I think I said to you before, is we have, requests for some of our services from all over the country, even though we're very regional, from all over the country because they see our Google reviews and they say, oh, you're 5-star and you're great at doing a trash shoot. And so can you come to Minnesota and do a trash shoot? So, it's interesting to see the effort has really expanded way even past what our capacity is. So
Talk about effort, with your husband on the crafting of those replies. And again, I just want to highlight something you say. You've said a lot of great nuggets for everybody, but that main, I'm trying to pull a couple things together. Earlier, you talked about, the people asking for the reviews, if they can incorporate their name, if they can incorporate the service provided, right? Or I'll rephrase that as if they can incorporate keywords to what you were just saying in the review. Sue brought up some really good technical tidbits about SEO and reviews. And yeah, that is also something very strategic. If you can get your clients mentioning those keywords in the reviews, fantastic for your SEO. And then more broadly, we talk about taking reviews, testimonials, if you want to call them that as well, and taking the snippets and putting them on your website or your other marketing. Now, if we can take a testimonial or review that gives praise, but also mentions the keyword and service organically by that client or that customer, and put that on your website. It's a great thing to read for edification. But now for web content, we're hitting on those same keywords again, right? Just like in a natural, organic way, not artificially trying to inject these keywords onto a page for ranking. It's just a very nice way to do it that shows a lot of trust to human beings who read your page, and then also Google and whatever bot is crawling it and consuming that information as well. Additionally, very much from the human side of things, like you're saying, we do a search, be it Amazon, Google, whatever. We look at reviews. This is part of what's important to us now. The website needs to look good too. There's expectations that we have when we're looking for things online. And then if somebody were to bump in, I mean, just playing devil's advocate, if somebody was looking at one of your competitors and then they're looking at you and they read the reviews and they see the replies that the business owner is putting out there, you can tell there's an investment of time. It's not Chat GPT writing, these replies. That's real and direct. And I think everybody knows, but just to be clear, like whoever writes that review, when the owner or whoever's replying to the review, the Google review, but when the owner replies, you get an alert that you had a message on the review you left on Google for that business. And that carries some weight with what he's putting out there. If somebody just said, hey, thanks for the review, if I left a review and John were to say, thanks for the review, I'd get an email that said that. And I'd be like, oh, cool. Nice, warm, fuzzy. But compare that against what he is writing. Man, I had a great experience. I left a good review and you responded to me like that. I'm going to be your client again. I'm probably going to tell somebody else, right? And just the way that comes across for me as the client would be fantastic. And now, again, if somebody's reading that and saying, oh, not only are they getting these great reviews, look at how personal they are, their website is in depth as well. That's how you really put your best foot forward. And hopefully we're helping you and other businesses to rank higher in Google and get found. But now we're converting. People are like, I'm in the right spot. Yeah, I found this business. Everybody loves them. They seem personal. The vibe is good. The energy is good. They look stellar. I'm not going to call anybody else. I'm going to call them. Or like in your case, you're saying, I don't think they don't come all the way up here, but I'm going to try anyways because they look so amazing. That's a great testament to doing it the right way and getting those results. So that's why we thought that you're such a great showcase to bring on and talk about this for everybody else, because you figured it out, you implemented it, you got over that obstacle, right? And are thriving now with a lot of things, but reviews. It's just been a big area that's been worth highlighting. So yeah, this has been really good.
I was just going to say, in your case with Giant Enterprise, the whole initiative really is synced with the values of your business. I mean, you guys have always been very focused on keeping your employees happy, treating them well, letting them know, acknowledging that they're important to you and that they're doing a good job. And the same thing with your customers. And all of these things together really are just a huge reflection of who you are. The website and what it's saying and communicating and having the testimonials online and just everything you're doing just is so consistent with the values of the business and who you are to your customers, to your employees. You're doing great. It's just, it all works together and it works. Gets you more business. Your customers are long-term customers and your employees stay.
Yeah. Yeah. I should post I should have the mission statement, which has been the mission statement for, at least 20 years. And at the bottom of it says employees are customers too, but it really focuses on customers being the most important thing, and how we service them. And so it's really all like an extension of that whole mission statement, right?
Well, and also, like most other business owners, you're experts at what you do and that's what you're paying attention to. And you're not experts in marketing. You're not trying to be experts in marketing, but you sure have been receptive and you're looking for ways to get better for both your employees, your customers, to attract more work, and you're putting things into place and you're doing it. I mean, that really, really speaks volumes. It's not like you knew all this the day you opened the business and different than everybody else. No, like most other business owners, you're learning as you go, and just great testimonial to what you've done.
All right. I think that's probably a good spot to land and wrap up this episode. A lot of great tidbits. Hopefully everybody listening and watching took some notes. Theresa, you guys, I think it's just a great journey, right? Of going through just an evolution of your digital marketing with a big focus on reviews, changing some culture, some DNA, right? And just having this be a part of what you do. If every business can do that, you're going to thrive. You're going to learn where to get better. And then ultimately, this is local SEO tactics, right? Ultimately, you're going to get more Google reviews. You're going to get more 5-star Google reviews, and you're going to improve your ranking and your visibility in Google, which is what we're talking about. But I think you got a great blueprint on how to get there. So thanks for your time coming in. Sue, do you have any final thoughts you want to do before we wrap it up?
Well, thank you for coming in today, and also just for being such a great collaborator in this whole journey from when we first started working together. So it's been great, and so great to see your success in all of this too. So, okay, going back to the quote of the day, it's no use saying we are doing our best. You have got to succeed in doing what is necessary. And that's Winston Churchill and John and Theresa Mattioli of Giant Enterprises saying that. So if you remember one thing and one thing only, remember this: reviews matter. Giant Enterprise is an excellent example of the impact that reviews have, not only on your online visibility and search rank, but for your customers, what they see and think of you, for your employee buy-in, and also just representing the values of your company. All of these things contribute to success. It's crucial to find a way that works to get customer reviews for you. And as you heard Theresa say, they've tried a few different things. They found something that worked, and that really embedded the company culture, and asking the customer, how'd it go? What else can you do for you? Into the mindset and the behavior of the customer facing people. So for all you business owners out there, you too can have this same success if you put a little time and intention into it. It worked for Giant, and it can work for you too.
I just wanted to give a big shout out to Intrix and what they have done for us as a company to bring us forward into the digital marketing age. They have done a great job in terms of developing our webpage to be unbelievable versus what it was. And then continue to work with us in terms of driving more content and more relevant content and blogs to our webpage. So it really excellent work from that respect, but then also helping us through the journey of, how do we drive more presence on the web, whether it's been through Google reviews or blog posts or just different strategies to drive our presence. So I can't thank you guys enough for what you've done for us in terms of moving the ball forward for us and really being our guide to it, because we don't really understand the details of it and what Google's priorities are, for example, but really have helped us guide us through that journey. So thanks so much for that. We really appreciate it. And where we are today is far where we were a few years ago when we started. So.
All right, everybody, thanks for staying with us on that one. Some great tips from Theresa. If you need to rewind it, play back some parts again, I think we dove deep into a few areas that are great for not only getting reviews, but how to change your culture and make this just be a part of your DNA for your company. And that's what's really going to get this to be an ongoing thing for you. So hope you enjoyed it. Business owners, marketing managers, anybody out there that's responsible or capable of getting reviews from your clients, from your customers, please take some notes and some actions out of this one, implement them in your business, and you're going to see some results for your SEO and just the buzz around for what you're learning, what you're getting, and the process in general. So thanks for sticking with us on this one. We'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.